All right. What's up? What's up? What's up? We are live with the NVIDIA announcement. 145,000 people are on. Hope y'all are having a great day. I am completely swamped. I actually have got a lot of work stuff going on in the background, but we could not wait. We've got the GPU announce coming here in just a minute, literally a minute, 59 seconds left to go. We're going to be doing our live stream today. We're going to be talking about the NVIDIA's latest graphics card technology. I'm actually going to unplug this because I'm probably going to get pinged by my work during this live stream, which is, unfortunate, but it is what it is. A couple things I'm looking for in this announcement is obviously the GPUs. I want to see what the frame rate performance improvements are going to be. We've heard anywhere between 20% and 40% better performance for these new graphics cards. But is that teraflops? I want to know what that spec really means. So I'm going to be looking for that. I'm also interested in some of the compute units and some of the scientific stuff that's coming with Ampere. We saw a bunch of that with some of the data center stuff, but I'm really just interested to see what the consumer grade hardware does. And then also, I don't hear anything. It's because I don't have it turned up. There we go. And then the other thing I'm really interested in is like the machine learning aspects of it, because I might start tinkering with that a little bit on the side as well. And then lastly, RTX. I'm really interested to see what the actual improvements are going to be for the ray tracing component. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We'll be talking about this bit of connection's bad too. So that's clearly not the card. Okay, I'm going to swap audio, hopefully without killing anyone's ears. I think I've got the ability to do that on the fly. Yep, cool. What are you guys excited about? I'm really interested in seeing all that stuff. Sorry if I'm having to look down. I am currently at work doing some really cool stuff. All right, here we go.
Welcome to my kitchen. I hope all of you are staying safe. We're going to talk about an amazing GPU today. Modern GPUs are technology marvels.
One GPU.
It is the engine of large industries from design, cloud AI to scientific computing. But it is the gamers and their insatiable demand that is the driving force of the GPU. Pulling their GPUs
debatable.
to create the largest distributed computer ever. 1 million gamers united to counterstrike the COVID-19 coronavirus. The result was 2.8 exaflops. 5 times the processing power of the world's largest supercomputer to simulate the virus. Folding at Home was able to simulate 100 milliseconds, a tenth of a second in the life of the coronavirus, and capture the moment it opens its mouth to infect a human cell. Scientists believe this is also its moment of weakness.
There we go. Sorry about not looking at you guys.
Thank you all for joining this historic fight. We're going to talk about computer graphics and the work we're doing to push the boundaries.
Submitted. That's good.
We love computer graphics and have advanced it incredibly in the time of NVIDIA. As the
They
technology
have.
advanced, the expressiveness of the medium has made graphics an invaluable tool to help us understand our world, create and explore new worlds, tell stories that inspire us. From science to industry to the arts, computer graphics has made a profound impact on the world, and for that, we are privileged to have contributed. We're going to talk about gaming and the infinite ways that gaming is expanding. GeForce PC gaming is large and thriving. Its open and rapidly advancing technology, combined with the amazing creativity of the community, makes magic.
Currently 200,000 people watching the stream.
Add a GeForce and you have a personal broadcast station. Pros stream their practices. Experts stream tips and tricks. Friends stream to friends just to hang out.
199,000 people.
Million streamers. Games have become a new art.
This is crazy.
In Minecraft, gamers can build their work of art. Machinima artists create cinematics made from game assets. Tens of millions are using games to express their creativity. Inside a computer simulation, any sport can become esport. Virtual NASCAR and F1 are already attracting top racers. Like sports, esports captures the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, and the human drama of athletic competition. Esports is on its way to be the biggest sport. I have something special for all the GeForce gamers around the world. 4 gifts. I hope you like them.
4 gifts.
Find new ways to game.
1, 2, 3, 4.
First, big news. Fortnite is turning RTX on. Now Minecraft and Fortnite, the #1 and #2 most played games in the world, have RTX on. Fortnite will get ray trace shadows, reflections, ambient occlusion, and DLSS 2. These effects
Fortnite is getting ray tracing.
I can't wait to see a Fortnite concert with RTX on. The last one with Travis Scott was watched by 28 million people. Epic made a trailer for you. Let's play it now. Let's go!
So that's funny. Wow. That was the trailer? It was like 30 seconds.
Esports is a game of milliseconds.
Who does a trailer that long?
Reaction time is a combination of the gamer and the machine. Let me explain.
All right, so we got a screenshot of Valorant.
In this example, the opponent is traveling at 1500 pixels per second, and it's visible in this opening for only 180 milliseconds. A typical gamer has a reaction time of 150 milliseconds from photon to action. You can only hit this opponent if your PC adds less than 30 milliseconds. Most gamers have latencies far greater than 30 milliseconds, many up to 100 milliseconds.
So is this the second thing that they're handing us?
Technology called NVIDIA Reflex. NVIDIA Reflex optimizes the rendering pipeline across CPU and GPU to reduce latency by up to 50%. In September, we're releasing Reflex with our game-ready driver. Over 100 million GeForce gamers will instantly become more competitive. Valorant, Fortnite, Apex Legends, Call of Duty Warzone, and Destiny 2 will be the first to integrate Reflex
and so those are the graphics cards here on the right.
Esports pros and enthusiasts strive for zero
We missed
latency.
it, unfortunately.
For you, we're announcing an
I need to be writing notes
fast
down.
And beautiful display. A 360 Hz G-Sync display designed for esports. This display has a built-in precision latency analyzer. Just connect your mouse.
207,000 people watching the stream at the moment.
Displays are arriving this fall from Acer, Alienware, Asus, and MSI. We've made a video comparing gaming on a 60 Hz, 144 Hz, and 360 Hz display. You can see immediately how 360 Hz display will help.
But they slow this down so much. This is complete marketing bullcrap, man.
For the 20 million live streamers, we have something really cool for you. NVIDIA Broadcast turns any room into a broadcast studio. NVIDIA Broadcast runs AI algorithms trained by deep learning on NVIDIA's DGX supercomputer, one of the most powerful in the world. Effects like audio noise removal, virtual background effects whether graphics or video, and webcam auto-framing is a virtual camera person tracking you. These AI effects are amazing. Available for download in September and runs on any RTX GPU. Brandon and GeForce Marketing.
So you have to have an RTX GPU for that to work. All right.
Hey everybody, I'm Brandon, and
kind
I'm
of a
very
bummer.
excited today to talk to you about our NVIDIA Broadcast app. Like many of you, I've been home a lot more lately. I've been video conferencing all day and then gaming and streaming all night. And I have a very basic webcam and microphone setup. NVIDIA Broadcast makes these things
basic microphone setup. The guy's rocking a
that really bring it out using the power of AI and RTX GPUs.
an RE20 or something like
I want to
that.
talk about is noise removal. So I asked my girlfriend to join me with a blow dryer here. And that distracting sound makes it very hard to understand what I'm saying. But when I turn on noise removal in NVIDIA Broadcast, you find that it's completely gone. And that blow dryer is
But it's also chopping off your sound.
But NVIDIA Broadcast isn't just awesome audio features. There's some really exciting video features as well. Let's take a look. First up, we have the ability to blur your background, which you may notice that I need because I have a very cluttered and messy room. But when I turn this background blur feature on,
Gotta turn on some notes.
all of a sudden I get this really classy effect. And I can adjust the strength of that from low to high and everything in between. Or, if I want, I can actually replace the background altogether. Now I'm in a space station with the magic of AI.
So the problem I have with this technology is
I can remove the background altogether.
you can kind of see
and jump
it's
into some
really fuzzy around the edges. Like if you have a
with a
proper
green
green
effect
screen,
without actually having to have one
it
at
looks
home.
right. But that just
I don't have to
looks
play good, but at least I
unnatural.
can look good.
I'm not a fan of that green screen. It's a
Now,
cool
sometimes
tech. I
when I'm
think it's
video
pretty cool,
conferencing
but
or doing a just chatting stream, I want to zoom in to get a more personal connection with the audience. But the problem is I bounce around.
Problem
so
I've got
much,
is
it's
I'm
easy for
blowing
my
this
head
all
to
up.
Get out of frame. With the auto frame feature, it's like having your own personal cameraman that follows you wherever you go.
That's cool.
So if, for example, I wanted to reach over and grab my cool Valorant hat and show it to everybody, it follows me every step of the way.
That's cool.
I just find NVIDIA Broadcast to be really exciting as both a streamer and as someone who works from home. The ability to remove distracting noise, improve your background, and keep yourself in the center of the frame are all awesome features in one app, and I just can't wait for you guys to try it.
A new form of art has emerged from gaming called machinima. Artists are using game assets to create cinematics. There's been tens of billions of views on YouTube. Most are shorts. Some are even recreating entire classic movies. It's becoming a whole new art genre. Today, I'm going to show you an app that will make these cinematics amazing.
All
It's
right,
called
let's see it.
NVIDIA Omniverse Machinima. It's an app built on our Omniverse 3D workflow collaboration platform. Omniverse is a universal design tool asset exchange with a viewer based on photorealistic path tracing.
I need to put it on the
The engine is designed to be physically accurate,
capture scene.
simulating light, physics, material, and artificial intelligence. We have connectors for most third-party design tools like 3ds Max, Maya, Photoshop, Epic Unreal, Rhino, and many more. The Machinima app brings in elements and assets from games and third-party collections like TurboSquid and lets you mix and compose them into a cinematic. Creators can use their webcam to drive our AI-based post estimator to animate characters.
That's kind of cool.
Drive face animation AI with your voice. Add high-fidelity physics like particles and fluids. Make materials physically accurate. And then when done with your composition and mixing, render film quality cinematics with your RTX.
All right,
GPU.
we've been able to dodge all our
NVIDIA Omniverse Machinima.
bullets and stuff at
Beta
work,
in October.
so hopefully
Sign up at
we can
nvidia.com/machinima.
get this going.
Let me show you a demo we created in a few days. We started with assets from Mountain Blade 2, Banner Lord. You're gonna love this. Mixing, render film quality.
There we go. So, like, I think this concept's great, but I don't know if this is NVIDIA's job, because, like, right now, Unreal 5, we saw it in the playback trailer, in the tech demo, they're planning on doing all of this cinema-based rendering and model asset allocation in the engine, not necessarily on the driver. And I don't know if I want that handled by the driver.
NVIDIA researcher Turner Whitted first published his paper on ray tracing.
Or maybe it's
Computer
the
science
ray
researchers
tracing
have
component
used this
of
shape to
the
create
engine.
super realistic virtual worlds with real-time ray tracing. NVIDIA, seeing the ultimate limits of rasterization approaching, focused intense efforts over the past 10 years to realize real-time.
And if you guys got any questions or comments on the reveal, let me know. We'll be recapping all this stuff
now 2 years later,
towards the end of the video. That way we got a good old YouTube video for the week.
NVIDIA RTX is a full-stack invention. RTX starts with a brand new GPU architecture, but it is so much more. It includes new engine tech and a bunch of new rendering algorithms. RTX is a home run. All major 3D APIs have been extended for RTX.
Yep,
RTX
this
is
is true.
supported by all major 3D tools.
Yep.
RTX tech is incorporated into all major game engines. There are hundreds of games in development and thousands of research papers of new rendering and AI algorithms enabled by RTX. The RTX GPU has three fundamental processors: the programmable shader that we first introduced over 15 years ago,
Yep,
RT Core to accelerate the ray triangle and ray bounding box intersections,
yep,
an AI processing pipeline called Tensor Core.
yep. None of this is
Tensor
new.
Core accelerates linear algebra that is used for deep neural network processing, the foundation of modern AI.
If y'all want to know more about this
AI
deep
is the
neural
most powerful
networking stuff, let me know in
technology force
chat.
of our
That way,
Computers that learn from
you know,
data
we
and
got
write
some
software that
comments
no humans
and
The
content
advances are nothing
ideas for the
short of
future.
breathtaking. NVIDIA is doing groundbreaking work in this area, You might have seen our work in self-driving cars and robotics.
And a lot of the
Computer
AI
graphics and
stuff is
gaming will
also
be revolutionized
being
by deep
implemented with some
Let
of
me
this
show you
new
some recent
stuff.
work
So a
in
lot
the
of the
art of
NVIDIA
processing.
broadcast software,
first video is
it's
a
being
trick to
piped in
adversarial
through that
network
AI
that
machine
has learned to
learning
synthesize
hardware
virtual
tech.
characters of any
So
artistic
it's not just
genre,
like these
including
graphics cards
photorealistic.
are just graphics
Second
cards
is a
these
neural
days. They are
network that
more of a
generates a 3D
computational
face
engine
directly
to
from voice.
supplement the
You
CPU.
require more Vespine gas. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
The AI character can speak in any language, be any gender, and even rap and sing. Third is a character locomotion of infinite number of positions.
I think we saw this
Imagine negotiating
demo
arbitrary paths and obstacles.
also with the Unreal 5 engine, where
Fourth is reconstructing 3D from video.
like they could walk through things and
Imagine
would
the
run across them
possibilities.
and it would like
Record video,
impact the
interact
terrain.
in 3D. This one is a deep learning model that learned the physics behavior of cloth animation.
That is like the breeziest
Finally, this deep
skirt.
learning model of ray tracing can predict colors of missing pixels, so that fewer rays need to be cast and fewer pixels need to be fully rendered.
That's cool.
We can achieve orders of magnitude speedups.
That is cool.
AI is certain to play a giant role in the
RT
future of
denoising.
computer graphics and gaming. The powerful tensor cores and RTX GPUs will let us do AI in real time.
Hey,
One of
what's
the
going
first
on, Digital
major
Chick?
AI
Welcome to the
computer
channel.
graphics breakthroughs
Sorry if my
is
chat
DLSS.
window's not up. I've got
Here's the
a whole
challenge.
bunch of stuff popping
Real-time
up.
ray tracing is far more beautiful, but requires a lot more computation per pixel than rasterization. So the solution is to
I'm just
ray trace
taking
fewer
notes about
pixels
this. We're going
and use
to
AI on
recap the
tensor
entire
cores
video
to
towards the
up-res
end of the
to
presentation
super-res to a higher
to kind of see
resolution
which,
and boost
tell you
frame rate.
guys what we saw, what we
DLSS took
liked.
nearly 2 years of
And they're
intensive
just
research.
basically buying
They
time
built a
until the
supercomputer
graphics cards get
extremely
renounced, you know?
The DLSS model is trained on extremely high quality 16K offline rendered images of many kinds of content.
Yep.
Once trained, the model is downloaded into your driver. At runtime, DLSS 2.0 takes in low resolution, aliased image and motion vector of the current frame, and the high resolution.
So I haven't
previous
tinkered
frame
with
to generate a
DLSS
high-resolution
2.0 just
current
yet.
frame.
I've run a little bit of
I think
DLSS
is one of our
1.0.
biggest breakthroughs in the last 10 years. Take a look at these images of Death Stranding, the latest game by Kojima-san. DLSS is
Kojima-san.
sharper than native 4K.
Yep.
and
I think the
created
digital,
detail from AI.
I think Digital
Native
Foundries does a
rendering
really good job
frame rate
explaining
is
the
high.
technology and how the different
Reviewers
settings
have loved
impact the
DLSS
quality of it.
They say its
And
quality
what's
beats
great
out
about
native
it
rendering
is it's
and runs
not
even
that much
faster.
of a
You can play
performance
at 4K
impact
without
on the
performance
old
Tensor Core
RTX cards.
effectively gives
So I'm
RTX a
still, again,
2x
I'm really
performance
excited to
boost.
see what
Let's look at one frame trace
RTX
of a game to see
3000
the
has in
processor's
terms of ray
RTX
tracing
in action.
performance.
Adding ray tracing to games dramatically increases the computation workload.
Yep.
Using shaders to do ray traversal and object intersection
Digital
reduces
Chick, what's
the
up?
frame rate. We added
You
the
little
RT core,
fawn.
which
Oh my
reduces
gosh,
shader
Candy.
workload
How you doing,
by
girl?
60%. RT core offloads the shaders by doing
We're
the
just
ray
doing a little bit
triangle
of
and ray bounding
good
box
old-fashioned
intersection
nerdery.
calculations.
We do
Using the
have
same methodology as
work
Microsoft
going on in the
Xbox,
background.
the
And we
RT
also
core
have
is
my daughter
effectively
doing
a
her schooling and
34
stuff. So
teraflop shader.
I kind of
And
wish this
Turing
was
has an
at night.
equivalent of 45 teraflops while ray tracing.
That's awesome.
Even with RT core, the amount of time consumed
What's
is
the timestamp
significant.
on that?
So RT core
Oh,
and
I'm not watching
shaders
it on
have to
YouTube.
run concurrently.
Uh,
Even then, 20 milliseconds is only 50 frames per second, and still a step back in performance relative to previous generations. This is where the Tensor Core and DLSS come in. Rendering to a lower resolution, then using AI and super fast Tensor Core to effectively double frame rate. Now you can get ray tracing, get high resolution, and high frame rate at the same time. That's the magic of the three processors.
oh, it's
of
Chonky.
RTX.
What's up, man?
Turing was our first generation
Oh,
RTX
I
GPU,
dig that
combining
chick.
ray tracing, programmable shading, and AI.
What's going up, Chonky?
The flagship
Sorry
Turing
about
had a
that.
ton of processing
It's hard to
power.
read, you know?
11 shader teraflops, 34 RT teraflops, and 89 tensor teraflops.
All right, so
Let me show you our
1134,
new
89.
RTX GPU. Ampere is a giant leap in performance.
Here's our first
Ampere
tech
does
spec.
2 shader calculations per clock versus 1 on Turing. 30 shader teraflops compared to 11.
30.
Ampere doubles ray triangle intersection throughput. Ampere's RT core delivers 58 RT teraflops compared to Turing's 34.
Power.
And Ampere's new Tensor Core automatically identifies and removes less important DNA weights.
Give me that
And the
Tensor
new
Core.
Tensor Core hardware processes the sparse network at twice the rate of Turing.
That is
238
freaking crazy.
teraflops compared to 89.
2.7,
Ladies and gentlemen,
1.7, and
NVIDIA's
2.7.
new Ampere GPU, Our second generation RTX, 28 billion transistors.
There we go.
Built on Samsung 8N NVIDIA
I've got
custom process.
a nerd chubby
All three
at the moment.
processors double rates over Turing.
Nice.
Triple double. It connects to Micron's new G6X, the fastest memories ever made. The days of just relying on transistor performance scaling is over. Yet Ampere is an incredible 2 times the performance and energy efficiency of Turing. At NVIDIA, we use every
Graphics
engineering
power,
lever to squeeze
1.9
every
performance
drop
per
of
watt.
performance out of the system. From architecture, custom process design, circuit design, logic design, packaging, custom SerDes I/O, memory, power and thermal design, PCB design, software and algorithms. Thousands of engineers per generation.
Yep.
Billions of dollars. Full stack engineering and extreme
So
craftsmanship.
yeah, now he's
is
just
the hallmark of our
padding.
GPUs.
So basically,
Our performance,
everything is
energy
2x at the
and low
moment
power
in terms
are
of
all world-class.
capacity for the
And
graphics
real
cards.
application performance highlights Ampere's new RT core. The more ray tracing is done, the greater the Ampere speed up.
So that's relative
Ampere RT core
performance.
doubles rate intersection processing.
I took a
Its
screenshot
ray
of it.
tracing is processed concurrently with shading. And Ampere can render cinematic images with motion blur 8 times faster than Turing. Let's take a look at Ampere in action.
This
At
is a
our
lot of
kitchen
information
GTC
all
a
at
few
once,
months
and I
ago,
want to make sure
we
we've got
showed
all of the
Marbles,
information
the
we
world's
can
first fully
going into
path-traced,
this.
photorealistic real-time graphics. It was running on our highest-end Turing Quadro RTX 8000. Turing was doing 720p, 25 frames per second. Today, we're going to run an enhanced version of Marbles with even more special effects. And it is running at 1440p, 30 frames per second, over 4 times the performance.
That's
Ladies
crazy.
and gentlemen,
That's
enjoy
4x.
Marbles at night.
All right, so that is really stinking cool, guys. So basically what I caught from that is going from Turing to the Ampere architecture, we're practically getting twice as much hardware capacity on the die as compared to the old flagship. Now, we'll have to see how that math translates to all the different graphics cards that are supposed to be announced. I can assume that all the numbers we've seen, oh man, it's a shame this isn't at 1440p because we could be watching this at the upscaled resolution. Anyways, with that said, it's just crazy how they're advertising almost a 2x performance per watt improvement, which, I'm sorry all you AMD guys out there, that is substantially larger than what Big Navi had in store, and that's bad news bears, because, you know, even if they were going to be putting out 80 compute units on the new AMD cards, this is still going to be better. So the question will be, at what price point will the 80 compute unit
Marbles is entirely
RDNA
path
screen?
traced. No rasterization, all real time.
This is crazy.
There are hundreds of area lights, including spherical area lights. There's no pre-baking, everything is dynamic. The depth of field is film quality and beautiful.
This is like this is game time playback.
Everything is dynamic.
1440p,
GI, all
30 frames per
dynamic.
second.
There are hundreds of rigid bodies, 80 million triangles. Materials are physically accurate. Physics simulation and
Dude,
volumetric
I am
rendering in real
pumped.
time.
Take my money. This is what I've been waiting to see.
DLSS 2.0
For months.
is doing the super resolution and AI denoising.
Yep, we talked about the AI denoising earlier. That's awesome. That is just so flippin' cool. You'll have to go back and watch this video clip on YouTube at 1440p. The Twitch stream is unfortunately...
Let's compare Marbles Turing and Marbles Ampere. You can see dramatic
Side by
visual
side.
quality jump of Ampere. Marbles on Turing runs at 720p, 25 frames per
25,
second. Marbles on Ampere runs at 1440p, 30 frames per second. More than 4 times the performance. And Ampere even did area lights and depth of field. A giant performance leap.
Oh yeah, huge.
Today's games are giant worlds, indoor and out, with photogrammetry, dense geometry, and lots of characters. Games are over 200 gigabytes and getting bigger. This is like 50,000 songs or 400 hours of
No
streaming
one counts
video.
in songs anymore,
Games have
man.
pushed PC I/O and file systems to the breaking point. CPUs copy files from disk and decompress the game image. This is fine when the storage system was slow, 50 to 100 megabytes per second. Now with Gen 4 PCI Express and solid-state drives, PCs can transfer data at 7 gigabytes per second, 100 times faster. CPU copying data to memory and decompressing game images is now the bottleneck. Decompressing data from 100 megabytes per second hard drives takes only a few CPU cores. However, decompressing from 7 gigabytes per second SSDs on PCIe Gen 4 takes over 20 CPU cores. Today, we're announcing NVIDIA RTX I/O with 3 new advances. New I/O APIs for fast loading and streaming directly from SSD to GPU memory. GPU lossless decompression. And collaboration with Microsoft on direct storage for Windows that streamlines the transfer of data from storage to GPU memory. With NVIDIA RTX I/O, vast worlds will load instantly. Picking up where you left off will be instant. This is a very big deal for next generation gaming.
Yeah, and
Let me show you Ampere in
more
action in one of the most anticipated
talk about it at
games
the
of
end.
2020. CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk. This trailer is called Scenes of Cyberpunk RTX.
I love it.
It shows ray trace reflections, diffuse illumination, shadows, ambient occlusion, and DLSS 2.0. Enjoy.
I want to see if I can jump into the...
On direct storage for Windows.
Yeah,
that
let's do
streamlines
this.
the transfer of data from storage to GPU memory. With NVIDIA RTX I/O, vast worlds will load instantly.
There we go.
Picking up where you left off will be instant. This is a very
Sorry,
big
this
deal
is
for
the
next
YouTube
generation
feed,
gaming.
and it'll be
Let me show you
probably a
Ampere
little
in
higher
action in one of the
quality.
most anticipated games of 2020. Project Red's Cyberpunk.
There we go.
This trailer is called Scenes of Cyberpunk RTX. It shows ray trace reflections, diffuse illumination, shadows, ambient occlusion, and DLSS
That, and we
2.0.
have the entire timeline
Enjoy.
worth of thumbnail clips and stuff, so we can go back to it. This is awesome, man. So a lot of this stuff we have already seen, but it's all been like pre-rendered and stuff. November 19th, I can't wait. It's gonna be freaking awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, our new flagship GPU, the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080, powered by Ampere, second generation RTX architecture.
We got trolled. The 3080 is the flagship. If the 3080 is $1,500, I am screwed. Oh my goodness. We have been trolled extremely. For all you 3090ers out there, get out of here. So, okay, so now, of course, we can be patient. So what is this magical 3090 card? Is the 3080 gonna be the full-blown one? Dude, that's, and I mean, I'm buying the 3080. I've already like committed. I've got all the tests lined up and everything. We're gonna be doing it. They didn't tell us how much memory it had. Let's see the picture. $58, okay. All right, so the rendered images we've gotten of this have been accurate, which is good. And from our understanding, the way the thermals work is also still accurate. So that's really good. Dude, I love this graphics card design. I at first it was like really weird. God, look how small that PCB is. Dude, that's so hot. I'm just so curious now what the leaks are. That, oh man,
NVIDIA RTX 3080. I have one right here. Let me show it to you.
Show it to me, Daddy. So no. Okay, so the big question here is, oh my gosh, that's huge.
It's beautiful.
Is this going to have the 12-pin connector on it?
The RTX 3080. It is wonderfully crafted. It's going to look beautiful in your PC, and it lights up.
I love
Now let me
the
tell you about
dual
some of the other
fan
exciting technologies
configuration. I think that's so cool.
Turing used G6, the fastest memories at that time. The industry thought that was the limit. For Ampere, we had to push.
I'm not too worried about the DDR4 or DDR6. You know, it's going to be faster. We're in the picoseconds range at this moment, so it's not that big of a deal.
Each voltage step is only 250 millivolts. So in the same period of time, G6X can transmit twice as much data as G6.
I'm not live tweeting all this all right now. I feel bad.
Signaling technology.
I'm being a bad content creator, but that's okay. I appreciate you guys stopping by the stream.
Is the first ever flow-through design. Working
The
harmoniously
flow-through
with
design is
PC
going to be
chassis
cool.
cooling system, pulling in cool air from the outside, flowing through the GPU, and pushing hot air straight out the chassis. To allow room for a fan to flow air directly through the module, our engineers architected a super dense PCB design that is 50% smaller than previous, while adding the bigger Ampere GPUs, HDMI 2.1, PCI Express 4.0, and G6X.
Let's see the power connector. I don't
There
see.
are two independently controlled fans.
I still don't see
The
a
bracket
power
front fan
slot
pulls
anywhere.
cool air from the bottom and pushes the heated air out through the graphics card brackets. A backside pull-through fan passes
So that
cool
also
air over
begs the
fins
question,
of the heat pipe and directs the hot air to
Do
the
I
top
need
and
an
back of the
800
chassis
watt
to
power
be exhausted
supply
by the system
for
fan.
this
The
graphics card?
3080 flow-through system is 3 times quieter and keeps the GPU 20 degrees cooler than the Turing design. It can cool 90 watts more than Turing.
90 watts, that's
The generational leap
impressive.
is ultimately the most important factor of new GPUs. A significant technology advance is needed to inspire content developers to create the next level of content and for the install base to upgrade. Let's see how the 3080
here's
stacks
the
up to previous
prices.
generation architectures on the latest graphics-intensive games. 3080 is faster than 2080 Ti. 3080 is twice the performance of 2080 at the same price. Ampere is the biggest generational leap we've ever had.
That's why we're
Ladies
getting
and gentlemen, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080, our new flagship GPU, powered by Ampere, our second generation RTX GPU architecture. Incredible amounts of processing.
I'm
in the
just
shader,
shocked with all of
RT
the
ray
leaks
tracing
being
core,
completely
and Tensor
wrong.
Core for processing AI. 10 gigabytes of G6X, twice the processing power of 2080, and at the same price, starting at $699. Available
$700.
September 17th. One of our most popular GPUs is the 70 series. 970, 1070, 2070 were all hugely popular. You're going to love the new RTX 3070. Faster than the 2080 Ti, the Turing enthusiast GPU priced at $1,200. Ladies and gentlemen, the new GeForce RTX 3070. Let me show it to you.
Ooh,
work
that's
of
a
art.
smaller one.
20 shader teraflops.
That's
40
important.
RT teraflops.
So this has got the 12-pin
and
connector too.
163 teraflops Tensor Core for AI processing. With 8 gigabytes of G6, RTX 3070
Flying like
is
a
faster than the
G6.
$1,200 RTX 2080 Ti, starting at $499.
$500. Wow.
Available in October.
All
Every
right, cool.
generation,
We got that
we
one
pack
too.
in our best ideas to increase performance while introducing new features that enhance image quality. Every couple of generations, the stars align, as it did with Pascal, and we get a giant generational
That is
leap.
crazy, guys.
Pascal was known as the perfect 10. Pascal was a huge success and set a very high bar. It took the super family of Turing to meaningfully exceed Pascal on game performances without ray tracing. With ray tracing turned on, Pascal, using programmable shaders to compute ray triangle intersections,
Dude, these charts
fell
are
far
awesome.
behind Turing's RT core. And Turing with ray tracing on reached the same performance as Pascal with ray tracing off. On a technical basis, this was a huge achievement. The images are far more beautiful, and reflection and shadow artifacts are gone. But gamers
I
want
really
more.
wish I would have
They want
grabbed
every
all of the
generation to be
specs
more
and
realistic
stuff
and higher frame rate
for
at the
the
same time.
3080.
So we double down on
I did get
everything.
the other one
Twice
though.
the shader, twice the ray tracing, and twice the tensor core. The triple double. Ampere knocks the daylights out of Pascal on ray tracing. And even with ray tracing on, crushes Pascal on frame rate. To all my Pascal gamer
Cool.
friends,
So we got
it is
all
safe
these
to
screen
upgrade
grabs.
now.
Yeah, it's safe to upgrade.
Amazing ray tracing games are coming. Activision and developer Treyarch are launching a new Call of Duty on November 13th. It's a masterpiece and it looks incredible. Their dynamic lights.
So
ray
I'm
tracing,
super pumped, guys.
shadows and
We're
ambient
going to be talking
occlusion,
about all this
DLSS
stuff at the
2.0,
end of the
and
stream.
NVIDIA Reflex
And we're going to be
super
kind
low
of
latency technology. The last Call of Duty
brainstorming.
sold an amazing 30 million copies. Activision put together this trailer of never before seen footage.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Enjoy.
Because honestly, these games look so good to begin with, and with ray tracing turned on, you almost lose it. Like, I've been playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare with ray tracing on, and it just isn't that much better. It's such a fast-paced game, you don't get to enjoy the ray tracing. So, you know, I'm not as, you know, pumped for this game. Cyberpunk is where the ray tracing is going to be really noticeable. I want to go through some of these pictures real quick. So the 2070 or the 3070, sorry, is going to be 20, 40, 163 and 8 gigs. $499. Yep. Cool. So we got all of our data. We'll be ready to talk
to you
about
one more thing. Several years ago, we started building the Titan, pushing the GPU to the absolute limit to create the best graphics card of that generation. It was built in limited quantities only through NVIDIA. The distribution was limited. The demand surprised us. Creatives were making 4K movies, rendering cinematics. Researchers built workstations for data science and AI. Bloggers built broadcast workstations. Flight and racing simulation fans built sim rigs. There is clearly a need for a giant GPU that is available all over the world. So we made a giant Ampere. Ladies and gentlemen, the RTX 3090.
So he was lying to us.
Come here.
I love how it was from the oven.
Come here to Papa.
Oh my gosh, dude. That thing is so damn huge.
3090 is a beast.
Look at that.
A ferocious GPU. A BF GPU. 36 shader teraflops. 69 RT teraflops. 285 tensor teraflops. And it comes with a massive
I got some
24
spoilers for that.
gigabytes of G6X. It comes with a silencer, a 3-slot dual axle flow-through design, 10 times quieter, and keeps the GPU 30 degrees cooler than the Titan RTX design. But there's more. The 3090
All right,
is
cool. We
so
got
big that for the very first time, we can play games at 60 frames per second in 8K. This is insane. Because it's impossible for us to show you what it looks
Asterisk.
like on the screen, we invited some friends to check it out. Roll the clip.
All right, cool. So let's open up another paint. Get that screen grab in there. But that's cool, guys. I am super duper pumped. Let me know what y'all think in chat, man. We got a couple new people in here. I don't think they announced pricing, though.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. No way. This is
Yeah, they didn't announce the pricing
this
on
is
that.
amazing. The resolution
So,
on this is
if memory serves, the 3080 was going to be $800, and it's already being
Why is it
undercut
so
by $100.
detailed?
So it's entirely
Alright,
possible
alright,
that
alright.
this
Move fast and ship
graphics
it.
card
This is
is the
8K, sir. I can see
$1,000
everything.
graphics card.
Oh, I need to
It
ship
might be
up.
Not a whole lot of people have
$1,200,
seen something like this.
but we'll see hopefully
So
soon.
realistic. I feel like I'm really in battle.
This is insane.
I want to look at the pretty things.
I still haven't picked up Control
The
either
ray
yet.
tracing is insane on this. These are the sizzle reels that you see,
This is basically hacks.
And then it's like, it'll never look like that, but it does.
I'm like looking across the vistas. The grand
September
vistas
17th.
are
That
happening
is
right now.
16
Holy
days from now,
Look at
guys.
this.
This feels like a Disneyland experience. Oh, it is so smooth. It's butter.
Oh, it's smooth as shit, dude.
I can't believe it's not butter.
I mean, this is game changing. There's no other way to put it.
I love content creators, man.
My mind is blown, dude.
Wow.
Oh,
It's
and
been
that's
20 years since
Wolfenstein
the NVIDIA GPU
Youngblood.
introduced programmable shading. The GPU revolutionized modern computer graphics. Developers jumped on and invented clever algorithms, like shaders that simulate realistic materials, or post-processing effects for soft shadows, ambient occlusion, and reflections. Developers pushed the limits of rasterization beyond anyone's expectations. Meanwhile, NVIDIA GPU processing increased a stunning 100,000-fold. Gaming became a powerful technology driver. Gamers grew to billions, and gaming pushed into all aspects of entertainment and culture. If the last 20 years was amazing, the next 20 will seem nothing short of science fiction.
So I think they might be getting rid of the Titans.
Today's Ampere launch is a giant step into the future.
Which
This
makes
is our
sense.
greatest generational leap ever. The second generation NVIDIA RTX,
Just like,
fusing
look-
programmable shading,
I want to print screen
ray
that real quick.
tracing, and artificial intelligence, gives us photorealistic graphics and the highest frame rates.
Just
at
like,
the
look
same
at those
time.
graphics
Once
cards.
the holy grail of
The
computer graphics,
3090's got practically a
tracing is now the
120
standard.
millimeter fan on it.
And Ampere is going to bring
That's
you joy
crazy.
beyond gaming. NVIDIA Reflex to improve your response time. NVIDIA Broadcast turns any room into a studio. And Omniverse Machinima turns you into an animated filmmaker. We are super pleased with 3070, 3080, and 3090. The
Yep.
first three members of the Ampere generation.
But nobody posted price
You're
for the
gonna feel a
3090.
boost like never before. I can't wait to go forward 20 years to see what
Did
RTX
anyone in
started.
chat find
will
the
have
price for the
holograms.
3090?
We will beam ourselves through time and space, traveling at the speed of light, sending photons, not atoms. In this future, GeForce is your holodeck, your lightspeed
Your
starship,
holodeck,
your time
please.
machine. In this future, we will look back and realize that it started here. Thank you for joining us today, and to all of our fans for celebrating the arrival of Ampere.
$1,400. So that is just a leak. All right, so I think that's the video, guys. Lots to talk about. We'll start it at the top. Again, appreciate you guys sticking with the channel. Appreciate you guys. Hit that subscribe button. We're going to be testing all of this NVIDIA goodness in the coming months, or weeks, rather. It's coming up pretty quick. But what we can say is, and Jensen said it perfectly well, too. Let me get back over to our main cam. There we go. Ampere is the generational leap in performance that we saw going from the 900 series to the 1000 series graphics cards. In the 2000 series, we said this on stream last night, introduced new technology. Granted, it didn't perform too well, but it was getting our foot in the door, and it definitely got developers interested in this new software enablement, and that's where NVIDIA is pushing really big now, because all the next-gen consoles are going to be having all this new ray tracing stuff. They're going to also have some of the compression stuff with the solid-state drives. There's all this new technology, and NVIDIA is in such a great spot that they're able to say, here's all of the chips, here's all the performance, here you go. So let's talk through this line by line, and we'll go through and show some pictures from the event as well. But the first thing that they announced was ray tracing support for Fortnite. Now, I'm not a Fortnite player by any stretch, and I don't, I know a lot of people that play Fortnite, and it's a cool game. It's really popular, but I'm not that interested in seeing what ray tracing looks like in Fortnite. It's already a very cartoony game. I don't think it was a really good choice to get that game to run on ray tracing. Maybe it was just getting Epic Games. Maybe that was how Epic Games was getting their ray tracing stuff with the current gen hardware positioned for this new launch. So it might be a middle ground between going from Unreal whatever to Unreal 5. I don't know, but it's there. And if you've got an RTX card, even the older versions, you should be able to run it. I don't think they announced like a date that was going to be available. But if you're a Fortnite player, ray tracing will be enabled eventually. I don't know if they announced DLSS 2.0 or if it's just like not ambient occlusion, but not the full path tracing, but just some of the lighter RTX stuff. I don't know. So we'll probably have to look more into the details behind that. I was juggling a bunch of stuff before that when that announcement was going on. But let's go to the second one. They also, I guess they kind of rebranded, re-announced this software stack called NVIDIA Broadcasting. Now, if you've got an RTX card today, you can actually already run their noise canceling stuff. They had a guy on the screen that was showing, his girlfriend had a hair dryer on, and it didn't impact the microphone, it's pretty cool tech. It's minimally evasive to your stream. I will note that it's not perfect software. You could definitely hear when his mic was cutting in and out towards the beginning and the end of his statements, but it's pretty cool tech to begin with. And, I'm looking forward to seeing more and more streamers getting into that, since we're doing the live streaming and stuff. And by the way, guys, if y'all are new to the chat, let me know in chat if you've got questions about the announcements and stuff. Highly interactive here. The next thing was the live background removal. Now, if you've got a Logitech webcam, there's software out there that does this, but this one uses their AI stuff. And, I've already got a pretty decent background. I've got a pretty good camera, but what it's going to do is it's going to enable people with webcams to remove backgrounds and implement that kind of green screeny look, which, is pretty cool. I ran a green screen for a while, but to be honest, people are here to see the scene, But the downside I saw with that technology was you definitely saw some fluttering going on around your picture. And, if you're really in it for the top tier quality from your production, you don't want to be using that tech. But if you don't have a green screen and you want to try it out, definitely worth the extra couple bucks. And then the last thing, they actually showed dynamic zoom. Now, if you go up to your camera like this and do that, and, I'm rocking a DSLR right now, or a mirrorless. My camera is able to, zoom into my face. I even got this thing. You'll be able to do that with your webcam. And now what's really cool about it is it's going to act like a digital stabilization. So if you've used a GoPro or any of the more modern camera designs out there, basically what they do is they record a large resolution, for instance, 1080p. That's not a large resolution, but we'll use that. And then when you implement, actually, they record a 1080p resolution, but they're actually recording a much larger resolution, so like 1200p maybe. And then whenever they go, they're going to actually crop it into 1080p. So when they do the dynamic zoom, they're taking that original image, taking the digital information from that block, and then based on where you move within that block, they're just giving you the sensor data from around that. So it's really cool, and it's much better than having to like manually pan your camera and stuff. So really interested to see how that impacts IRL streams. I thought that technology was pretty cool. I didn't follow a lot of the machinima stuff that they were announcing, and to be honest, a lot of the game engines are already implementing using studio quality textures and models and frames and stuff and putting it into the engine. So I'll have to look more into that specifically. And then the last little fluff detail they had was the magic of deep learning. Now, I actually do a bunch of, inference workloads and stuff through my work, and I do mess around with, the highly parallelized computing. So if you guys are interested in seeing some of these applications of parallel computing, let me know in chat or down in the comments. I would definitely look forward to doing that. And with these new RTX 3000 cards, I am highly interested in seeing what the generational improvement is from the old RT cores to the new quantity of RT cores. So really interested in that. And now the moment we've all been waiting for, we've got the graphics cards. So Jensen did us a number, and he actually teased some of the generational performance. We can throw this on screen. And what we got here is Minecraft. We're going to be getting about 1.75 times better FPS with ray tracing. I'm assuming this is all with ray tracing turned on. Games and apps run at 4K with an i9 CPU. We'll have to look more into the specs here. But basically, we're getting at least 1.5 times the performance improvement at 4K. Let's keep that all in mind. At 4K with these different games. So if we're getting 60 frames per second, we should be expecting, half of that. So 90 frames per second, right? On most games. So I'll be interested to, validate this claim going forward in the future. But, there's a bunch of asterisks with this. Are they running DLSS 2.0? Is this running what level of shaders? We'll have to dive into that once the reviews come out. And then I will be doing that. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that bell, all that good stuff. But this was a good little sneak peek of what we can see from a performance perspective between our old Turing cards and the Ampere cards. Now, the biggest announcement was the flagship 3080. It's not really the flagship. The flagship is the Titan version, which I think they're just rebranding into the 3090, I guess because a bunch of people were getting confused because, oh, you've got a Titan. Awesome. You got a Titan X. Okay, cool. Do you have a Titan X Pascal? Do you have a Titan X Amp or Turing? What do you have? So I think they're kind of ditching the Titan branding. This is just my opinion. They're ditching the Titan branding and going with the 3090. There's a bunch of implications because I think the old 90 series GPUs, they had dual GPUs on them. So, I won't go too much into that, but the quote flagship gaming card is going to be the RTX 3080. It's going to be, I'm shocked about this. It's going to be $700 MSRP. Now, that's MSRP. I have no clue what the price is actually going to be. Given the claims they make for performance and all this, I could definitely see it improving or costing $900. I think the market is going to be so head over heels with this, with all these performance claims that, I think if you've got the money, and don't do this to make money, but if you've got the money and want to flip some cards, definitely might be worth it. So this is the generational leap. It's kind of interesting because they normalized everything to the 980. It was a pretty good graphics card. I think Hardware Unboxed actually just released a video comparing the 980 Ti, the 1080 Ti, and the 2080 Ti to kind of get some performance metrics. And if you look at it, the 1080 is roughly the same price, but almost twice as good, probably 1.75 as good. And then you go up to the 2080. I think it's funny that they're using all the 2080 Super stuff, not the 2080 launch data. But you're getting a almost 2x price jump, but you are getting almost a 2x performance jump. And now here is the kicker. The 3080 for $700, you're getting, this is of course all normalized to the 980, you're getting double that performance. If you just bought a 2000 series graphics card, I feel very sorry. We've been saying hold your horses for a while now, and this just proves that the 2000 series was definitely a stopgap and introduced some technology. The 3000 series is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. So let's dive into some of the specifics for the 3080, and this is where it gets interesting. So they didn't cover like compute units. I keep using AMD nomenclature. They didn't talk specifics regarding the, of course, all my alt tabs are now backwards. They didn't talk much about the CUDA cores and anything beyond what the performance metrics were going to be. And I'm kind of interested to see if that's because they haven't solidified like how many cores are going to be enabled, or maybe we just need to go and look at some of the leaked product images. But what they're saying is for the 3080, the SMs are going to have 30, I think it's teraflops. And then the RT cores are going to have 58, whatever unit that was. I didn't grab that on a screen grab. But the big thing, and what I find most important, is the tensor core performance. And that's going up to 240 tensor flops or teraflops from the tensor cores. I don't know what the metric is specifically, but if you look at the 2080, I guess they're comparing it to the 2080 Super. against the 3080 Super, practically all metrics are at least 2.7 or 1.7x. I did write that number down. So the SMs were getting 2.7 times better SM performance, 1.7 times better RT core performance. That's the ray tracing core performance. And then with the tensor cores, that's 2.7. So this is just an incredible leap in terms of performance all around. Again, we're going to be seeing lots of good benchmarking coming from my channel and others in the future. But let's also talk about AMD, because AMD's been saying RDNA 2 is going to be good. Big Navi is going to be a great graphics card. I don't know about that much more anymore. We've got a channel video here on the channel called the RDNA 2 Explained, where they claim to have a 50% performance per watt improvement. I don't want to burst your bubble, but NVIDIA is claiming 1.9 or 90% performance per watt improvement, which I don't know how AMD is going to compete at this point. Because, so do I have that other chart open? Sorry, like I said, my alt tabs are all messed up. So you'll have to look at the pointer here. So right now, the 2070 Super is kind of similar to the 5700 XT. And if we just take that one alone and we compare it to the 1.5 performance per watt improvement, that's only going to get you up to about here or so, maybe 3x performance improvement. The RDNA 2 big boy, at least the 5700 XT equivalent, is going to be significantly slower than the 3070, which I find remarkable. And if you actually compare the 2080 Ti, the old $2,000 graphics or $1,200 graphics card, you can get that for $500 come October. That is a big spit in the face for people that bought the 2080 Ti's, man. And we'll talk about it here in a second. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But performance per watt definitely is going to be going towards NVIDIA this go around. And I don't think they went with the efficiency. They went with the performance. And we saw it with their board design. They're making everything much more dense, much more compact. But their cooling solution, I think, scaled pretty well. I think we took a screen grab of the different graphics cards. I only got the 3090 and the 3070, but look at that. They've got these massive fans. They kind of look like the fans that came on the Ice Giant, which is pretty awesome, to be honest. That guy, did I move to YouTube? No, we're just doing this on YouTube, so that way I can chop it up, put it as a video to feed the algorithm, so to speak. And not a lot of people watch the Twitch these days, but we're just covering all of the NVIDIA press conference, and I'm just amazed that the 3070, again, we can compare this to the old 2080 metrics. It's going to have 20 shader T-flops compared to the 11 of the old flagship, the 2000 series. So we're getting twice as many shader T-flops. There's not as much of an improvement when it comes to the ray tracing performance with the 3070. So that's a bummer. But the tensor teraflops, again, is twice as much. So if you're comparing the old flagship, the 2080 Ti, to the 3070, you're getting twice as much performance. And then we can go back to that other alt tab. There's no reason to not be getting a RTX 3000 series card at the moment. Like, I find it hard to think that people will try and pick up 2000 series graphics cards. The biggest thing, we'll talk about it at the end. I don't want to get carried away. But let's continue. So we talked about performance per watt, and there was actually a really cool demo where they were showing some of the marbles renders and stuff. And what they did was they took the previous generation graphics card, the 2080 Super, 2080 Ti, and they ran it through this fully real-time, fully path-traced render, and I think it was live. It wasn't like a pre-rendered kind of thing. They were saying that when they did it on Turing to get it at 25 frames per second, they had to use a resolution of 720p, which is not great. You know, we watch live streams all the time over on Twitch that are the standard 720p. With Ampere, they can bump up the frames per second to 30 frames per second, but they quadruple the resolution, going from 720p to 1440p. That is amazing. I am so pumped to see what ray tracing performance looks like with games going into the future. You know, everyone crapped on Tom's Hardware for saying buy it now, or just buy it, hashtag just buy it. Now that we've got developers that are buying into the ecosystem, the hardware can actually drive it, and the prices are not crazy. I really think people are just going to buy it. I'm just amazed with how crazy a lot of this stuff's going to be. The 3080 is 3 times faster and better than the 2080 Ti. We got to remember this metric is normalized off of the 980. So what I'm planning on doing, and we did it on the live stream on Twitch yesterday. I've got my, we're actually on a GTX 1080 right now, and I'm going to be matching all of this stuff. So I'm currently in the process of benchmarking 1080p. I'll be doing 2080 Super next, and then once we get the 3080 come September 17th, we'll be finishing that up, and it's going to be awesome. I'm super stoked. The next thing they covered in the presentation was RTX IO. Now, again, if you've followed my channel, I've done a bunch of PlayStation 5, and I did one Xbox Series X video, and developers are really going to be leveraging NVMe storage, fast solid-state storage, and rather than piping everything through the CPU, they're going to be going through the graphics card. Now, the next-gen GPUs are all going to be RDNA 2-based AMD solutions, but with direct storage from Microsoft with RTX IO, we're going to be able to do compressed textures and blah, blah, blah from our high-speed storage, go straight to the GPU for rendering. I'm really interested to see this. I need to try and see if there's a way I can get into the DirectX. I know like Windows has got the Insiders versions and stuff. I'm really curious if there's a development way I can get my hands on this tech, because if what they're saying is true when it comes to rendering, dude, it just blows my mind that we're going to be able to utilize bandwidth of the processors. Oh, they didn't talk about Gen 5 or Gen 4 at all. Maybe y'all should check that video out. But basically, it's going to have Gen 4 capability. We could probably look at the specs later. I got to get back to work here shortly. Dude, I am right there with you, Kizuki. We'll go ahead and talk about that right now. $700 for a 3080. That is phenomenal. I think right now a 2080 Super is close to $900. Wow. And of course, that's not MSRP. I think MSRP for a 2080 Super was right around $700. So NVIDIA is definitely putting all their chips in front of us, saying, buy our stuff. The hardware is great. You can do it. I'm just really interested to see where the AMD stack up lines up, because there's rumors that there's going to be a 3060 coming out, and there's also rumors of like 3050s and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see. We could probably plot this out in actually, you know, we could do that right now. Let's grab a chart. So this will be the extra value and why you guys should watch my channel more often. So right now we've got, let's draw a line. So this is the 2070 Super to the 2080. We're just basically drawing a regression line on performance. And what we can see here is that, unfortunately, there was no other variance for here. But what we've got going into the 3080, and of course we still need to get the performance per watt metrics. That's, I think 1400 was what the reported price is going to be for the 3090. I think that's what the performance metrics are going to look like. Granted, nah, I think this one's going to be a little flatter. It might be like that. But that's kind of what our graphics cards are going to perform like. That's just my models and stuff. You know, you can always check me later on that one. But I just think it's crazy that when it comes to other products hitting the market, we can draw another, like, I guess, a brush. There we go, brush. We want the biggest one. So that's the 3070. That's the 3080. That's the 3090. Where's the 3060? So I imagine the 3060 is going to be right here. Because the 3060 has always been like a $300, $400 card. So I imagine it'll still be in the $400. So where would we say the 1060 or the 2060 was? The 2060 would have been like right here, I guess. So we're getting a 50% performance improvement with the lower end RTX cards. I don't know. I'll save this as a separate image. We can talk about it later tonight on the channel. Oh, wow. I need to free up some of my space there. And then we got to undo all these. Oh, no. Don't do that. Okay, cool. So we talked prices. 3080, $700. 3070 is going to be $500. And then they didn't talk about it in the press conference, but the 3090 has been reported to be $1,400, which that's crazy. But with 24 gigs of RAM, and I did write down the specs for it, 36 SM flops, 69 RT core flops, and 285 flops on the tensor cores. That's crazy. But I don't think the price premium is going to be worth it. I'm just going to be honest and frank with you guys. You're really on the fence about the 3090? Yeah, I definitely wouldn't do it. I think the 3080 is going to be the king of the castle. You know, people were loving the 2080 Ti's just because having the 2080 Ti's. But given the performance improvement, I don't think any like sane person is going to want to get the 3080 T or the 3090. You know, if they're doing rendering workloads like they said in the presentation, definitely if you need the horsepower, it'll be there. But I'll do some math. We'll talk about it later tonight on the stream, twitch.tv/theturk. We'll talk about this stuff and kind of wrap it all up. Yeah, that guy, I figured it was you. Yeah, I'm getting the 3080 myself. Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing what the benchmarks look like too. So that's all I've got for the announcement. At first I thought we were getting trolled by Jensen, but it looks like most of the leaks were true. The graphics card design came out to be true. The graphics cards being announced was also true. The prices were in the ballpark, which is good. So yeah, we're just going to have to see how things pan out. Again, we'll be talking about this later over at twitch.tv/theturk. We'll be covering some of the GTX 1080 benchmarks. I haven't done any of them yet because I've got thrown under the bus at work and I have to go back to that work. But thank you guys for watching the channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Also hit the bell icon. We do have the Google Pixel 4a review. It's coming. I need to edit it and all that stuff. And then, of course, all your RTX 3000 coverage is going to be here on the channel. So thank you guys for coming by. I hope you have a great day. Catch you in the next one. Later, guys. Yeah, I don't know what you'll do with 14 gigabytes of extra RAM, man. That's a lot.